Hello and welcome. It's a new Wednesday, a new comic book day, and a new graphic novel review from me, Andrew Ace. You can find me online at UYS999. That's my handle for pretty much everything. So, today's graphic novel review is covering the best Superman reads that I have in my library. And I'd just like to caveat that, because they're not all the books out there. There's certainly a few that I wish I could get my hands on. But at the same time, these are graphic novels / comic book collections that I've gone and spent my own hard-earned dollars on, sometimes even after having read the issue. So this then is my personal, hey, these are great reads. So, to start with, we have Superman for All Seasons by Tim Sale, Jeph Loeb, the writer, got those reversed. Jeph Loeb, though, you recognize his name, hopefully, from some of the other reviews I've done, and these days you'll spot his name in the credits of a number of comic book adapted TV shows. This graphic novel, though, is a very innocent, heartwarming, great for all ages readers. Look at Superman's early days when he first comes to Metropolis, done in Tim Sale's signature art style, but with maybe I'd say a slightly more retro feel, cartoony feel. That was Lex Luthor, maybe not the best page. And that's not to knock it in any way. I feel it certainly harkens back to a 50s era almost style Superman, and that in turn helps set the tone, helps set, you have beautiful, beautiful scenes. It's just a city, Metropolis, but Tim Sale does a phenomenal job. Here he is with Clark Kent, Lois Lane. So, why I recommend this book? It's one of my favorite holiday reads, and I wanted to review it then, but I also really enjoy it for its heartwarming innocence, fast-moving, action, exciting, but really at the heart of it, it captures for me a lot of what Superman means as a hero, as a symbol, and that isn't that he's dark and gritty, destroyer of worlds, or any of these things, but instead just a hero who's also a young man, discovering love, discovering his place in the world. And it's, in that sense, a great book, especially for younger readers. Alright, next up is a reverse of that almost completely. You have Red Sun by Mark Millar, Dave Johnson, and I apologize here, the other penciler didn't know worked on it was Killian Plunkett. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Dave Johnson, you'll recognize, or I know from having done the 100 Bullets covers. This is a phenomenal story. When I worked at a comic book store, my boss, actually, this was his favorite read. It is an alternate timeline in Elseworlds, though these days with the Convergence you'll actually see Red Sun. I think he's popping up with the Earth 2 characters, and there's a whole sort of battle royale going on. But what you have here is Superman crash lands in Russia in the early 30s, late 30s, sorry, in the sort of original timeline of him growing up, give or take. And so instead of Superman, America, the flag, the eagle, everything that we sort of associate with the iconicness of the character, he now becomes this champion of communism, champion of the people, and Mark Millar writes a very interesting, very exciting story, excuse me, that also leads to, power corrupts, and ultimate power corrupts ultimately. Maybe I'm getting that quote a little bit wrong there. But what you see is then, in turn, other heroes taking on different roles or popping up in different places, like Soviet Union Batman, the Russian-inspired Wonder Woman that I just showed you a picture of there. Let's see if I can't find another. But in the meantime, here's a phenomenal one of Superman. You can see the symbol on his chest has changed. It's now the sickle and hammer. And Bizarro is a creation of America. I love that. So, of course, now that I'm looking for Wonder Woman, I can't find a picture of her. Still, a phenomenal read. What makes it neat is that it is essentially a standalone read, though with what everything DC is doing these days, you can then still find more of the characters in new comic books, which is kind of cool too. So, Red Sun, check it out. Oh, and I just want to mention, this is more of a mature read. This, I would say, 15, 16 plus be appropriate, but certainly not for readers really much younger than that. Okay, so I'm going to pause here again. We're going to try and break these up into shorter segments. And again, I'm very interested to know what you think of these books, books you'd like to see reviewed, or just, what's a hot read that I don't seem to know much about. I'd love to hear from viewers. So, I'll see you back in a few. Cheers!